In a dramatic turn of events that has captured national attention, revelations have emerged implicating high-ranking officials within the Trump administration in a scandal of alarming proportions. This investigative report delves into the disturbing discovery of a group chat on Signal, a platform ill-suited for handling sensitive information, in which members of the administration, including the vice president, discussed war plans and military operations. What should have been a secure and controlled exchange of critical information instead became a glaring breach of protocol when a journalist was inadvertently added to the conversation, exposing the recklessness that now permeates the corridors of power. U.S. Senator John Oaff of Georgia, a figure known for his incisive commentary and commitment to national security, has been at the forefront of the response to this scandal. In his measured yet pointed critique, Senator Oaff did not mince words, describing the episode as nothing short of absolute clowns and denouncing the behavior as amateurish, dangerous, and wholly irresponsible. According to the senator, the very individuals tasked with safeguarding classified and national security information have flagrantly disregarded the basic principles of secure communication. The use of Signal on unclassified devices for discussing sensitive military operations was not merely a technical misstep, it was a stark indicator of a broader disregard for the rules that undergird national security. The scandal specifics are as unsettling as they are clear. A group chat, intended for internal discussions among cabinet members, was marred by a critical error, the accidental inclusion of a national reporter. This breach is emblematic of a larger trend within the administration, where protocols are routinely sidestepped in favor of expediency, often at the expense of public safety and national security. Senator Oaff's reaction underscores the severity of the situation. He recalled reading the report while en route back to Washington, expressing disbelief at the cavalier attitude displayed by those in power. He lamented that individuals who should understand the consequences of their actions were instead behaving as if their actions were part of a trivial conversation among friends. Yet, the scandal is not confined to a single moment of carelessness, it reflects a disturbing continuity of behavior among political elites. Senator Oaff pointedly noted that figures such as Marco Rubio, Pete Haggs, and even Tulsi Gabbard, who in the recent past have vociferously condemned similar breaches of security, now find themselves implicated in comparable missteps. This striking hypocrisy, he argued, is emblematic of a deeper malaise within the political establishment, where the rhetoric of accountability is belied by actions that endanger national security. The inconsistency is not just a matter of political expediency, it represents a profound failure to adhere to the standards expected of those charged with the nation's safety. The implications of this scandal extend far beyond the immediate breach of protocol. In a time when national security hangs in the balance, the administration's cavalier approach to handling classified information could have catastrophic consequences. The discussion that transpired on Signal, involving war plans and military strategies, reveals a level of operational laxity that is both unprecedented and deeply troubling. Such carelessness not only undermines the integrity of the government but also places American lives at risk, a risk that Senator Oaff insists cannot be ignored. Amidst the growing outrage, Senator Oaff has taken decisive steps to hold those responsible to account. With plans to summon several of the implicated individuals to testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee, the senator promises a rigorous line of questioning that will leave no stone unturned. This commitment to accountability is not just about addressing a single misstep, it is about confronting a pattern of behavior that threatens the very foundations of national security. In the eyes of Senator Oaff, the stakes could not be higher, and the response must be both swift and uncompromising. The political fallout from this scandal has reverberated far and wide, setting the stage for a broader confrontation between those who advocate for stringent national security measures and those who prioritize partisan loyalty. In a recent rally held in Atlanta, Georgia, Senator Oaff addressed thousands of citizens gathered in what can only be described as an electrifying demonstration of public discontent. The rally, which was not heavily promoted but nonetheless drew a massive crowd, served as a microcosm of the broader public sentiment. Citizens, it appears, are no longer willing to tolerate a government that behaves recklessly with their security or dismisses the gravity of its actions. At this rally, the senator laid bare his analysis of the current political landscape. He painted a picture of an administration that is determined to entrench one-party rule through a series of dangerous actions. From purging independent watchdogs to placing personal loyalists in the highest offices, the administration is accused of systematically dismantling the checks and balances that have long underpinned American democracy. The senator's observations are not limited to the Trump administration alone. He draws a direct line between the current crisis and the broader issue of systemic corruption that has plagued American politics for decades. A central theme in the senator's address was the insidious role of money in politics, a force that has fundamentally altered the nature of public policy and governance. He argued that the administration's actions are not isolated incidents but are symptomatic of a political system deeply compromised by the influence of wealthy donors and powerful interest groups. The decision in Citizens United, which has allowed for vast sums of money to flow unchecked into political campaigns, is cited as a turning point that has made it possible for individuals like Donald Trump to consolidate power in ways that were previously unimaginable. The senator pointed out that the influx of corporate money and the active participation of figures like Elon Musk in political processes have only served to exacerbate the corruption that now grips the nation. Elon Musk's involvement, in particular, has drawn intense scrutiny. Reports of Musk distributing substantial monetary incentives in states like Wisconsin to sway voters underscore a broader trend of deregulation and the erosion of oversight. Such actions, the senator warned, not only undermine the integrity of elections but also set a dangerous precedent whereby powerful individuals can effectively rewrite the rules of political engagement. With the traditional regulatory frameworks dismantled or sidelined, the influence of money in politics is poised to grow even more entrenched, further deepening the divide between the governing elite and the average American. The senator's critique extends to the very heart of democratic governance. He likened the current situation to a descent into authoritarianism, a phenomenon where the government increasingly relies on fear, intimidation, and outright repression to silence dissent. In his view, the administration's aggressive pursuit of political enemies, its dismissive attitude toward judicial orders, and its blatant contempt for the rule of law are not merely administrative missteps, they are indicative of a broader strategy aimed at consolidating power at any cost. The rapid erosion of civil liberties, he argued, is reminiscent of historical periods marked by intense political repression, and it represents an existential threat to the republic. As the investigation deepens, the senator has not shied away from drawing parallels between the current crisis and some of the most troubling episodes in modern history. He has invoked the specter of McCarthyism to underscore the severity of the threat, suggesting that the present day may well witness an even more acute crisis of democratic freedoms. Yet, amidst the growing darkness, there remains a glimmer of hope. Senator Oaf is resolute in his belief that change is possible, but only if the American people rise to the challenge. His call to action is clear: citizens must demand accountability, organize peacefully, and make their voices heard in every town hall and public forum across the nation. Looking forward, the senator envisions a future where the American electorate, galvanized by recent events, will deliver a decisive rebuke to those who have betrayed their trust. With the 2026 midterm elections on the horizon, he forecasts a landslide victory for the forces of accountability and reform. The message is unambiguous: the era of unchecked power and partisan corruption is drawing to a close, and a new chapter in American democracy is poised to begin, one in which transparency, integrity, and the rule of law are restored. In closing, the investigative revelations surrounding the Trump administration's use of an unsecured group chat on Signal serve as a stark reminder of the dangers posed by complacency and corruption in government. The mishandling of classified discussions, the blatant hypocrisy among political elites, and the unchecked influence of money in politics collectively underscore a crisis of confidence in the nation's leadership. As Senator John Oaf and others continue to demand accountability, the American public stands at a crossroads. The path forward requires not only exposing the misdeeds of the past, but also committing to a rigorous, comprehensive reform agenda that addresses the systemic issues at the heart of this crisis. Ultimately, the challenge before us is profound. The very institutions that have long safeguarded American democracy are under threat, and the consequences of inaction could be dire. Yet, there is also an opportunity, a chance to reclaim the promise of a government that works for all its citizens rather than a select few. The coming months and years will test the resolve of the nation as citizens, lawmakers, and leaders grapple with the urgent need for reform. With unity, determination, and a steadfast commitment to the principles of democracy, there remains hope that the United States can emerge from this crisis stronger, more resilient, and more true to the ideals upon which it was founded. The investigative report, built on a foundation of hard evidence and incisive analysis, leaves no doubt the time for complacency has passed. The recklessness witnessed in the halls of power must be met with a relentless pursuit of accountability, and every American must stand ready to defend the democratic institutions that form the backbone of this great nation. As history unfolds, it will be clear whether the United States can overcome this unprecedented challenge and once again prove that the spirit of liberty and justice remains unassailable.